Have you ever wanted to just share your story or a woe or something with anyone, and before you're even able to really get much of it out there, sharing their well-intentioned advice with you? It can be hard, can't it? You really want to be understood. You want your story or your situation or your issue to be heard, and a lot of our ability to listen can sometimes hinge on being heard first when we're dealing with other human beings. And I just want to share this morning about Job and his friend's example. Job was righteous. He was a righteous man. He shunned evil and he did good, and he was very wealthy and he was very generous with his wealth, especially with poor people and people who could not repay him, and he asked nothing in return. But Job was sorely tested. He was tested by the devil, and it was a good lesson in that it's the devil often who tries to do us harm. But God sometimes allows it because, in fact, he will use it to do us good. But the focus that I want to put on Job's situation is, so after he lost all his wealth, he lost all his precious children in one day, and then after all that, not long later, he lost all his health, and he was in agony, and his friends came to see Job, and it says in Job chapter 2 verse 13, it says, "Then they sat down on the ground with him for 7 days and 7 nights with no one speaking a word to him, for they saw that his pain was very great." They sat down for 7 days and 7 nights with no one speaking to a word to him. We want to pour out our wisdom, don't we? And I am guilty of that above all. And if you're one of the people who I've been quick to speak and to try and share what I think the solution is or whatever with you before I have heard and listened and contemplated, I'm very sorry, and I just ask for your forgiveness, because I know that can be very hard, and I won't have helped the times that I've done that. There's a verse in James chapter 1, it says, "This you know, my beloved brethren, but everyone must be quick to hear, slow to speak, and slow to anger." Quick to listen, slow to speak. We need to make it our goal to listen and to listen and to listen, and to be slow to speak. And if we're quick to listen and we're slow to speak, then it makes the third part of that, slow to anger, much easier, because so much anger comes from being quick to speak and from one or the other party not listening properly. So I just want to share some thoughts with you today. It's a simple command, this, about being quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to anger, but it transforms our relationships and the nature of our interaction with other people entirely if we practice it. The first massive advantage with this is that it stops arguments. It stops arguments a lot. If we focus on listening and then we don't respond until we've had a chance to process what was said, we can't end up in a heated argument. We can't be talking over one another. It takes two to do that. We have the power to do this through simple obedience to Jesus Christ. The second great example with being quick to listen is that it builds trust. People who talk with us will know that we're a person who considers carefully, and in so doing, and listening, and then thinking carefully before we respond, if we respond at all, it shows honour to the other person. It certainly shows care, and it shows respect. And the third big advantage of listening and being slow to speak is that it's therapeutic, even without a reply. So sometimes it's more so therapeutic with a reply. The Bible, just even allowing someone to get out what they're saying and to pause and for them to keep on going, those pregnant pauses can be very good for hearing the whole story. And sometimes people might need 20 seconds, 30 seconds, a minute before they continue with their story without being interrupted with advice or thoughts. The Bible says, rejoice with those who rejoice, weep with those who weep. Sometimes advice isn't the best thing. So that's from Romans 12, verse 15. Rejoice with those who rejoice, weep with those who weep. Let the other person finish. So thinking of all this step by step, I think it's really important if we think of ourselves in these situations. Step one, let the other person finish. Let them really finish. Wait, don't reply. Let there be pauses, let there be gaps, let them keep talking. Keep on waiting, because being listened to and understood is important to us all, and it's often more therapeutic than anything else. Remember, as you're listening, that when you start formulating your reply, you've stopped listening. When you start formulating your reply, you've stopped listening. And when you start speaking, you've absolutely stopped listening. So now, after you have listened fully and it's all out, pray before responding. Pray before responding. Pray while you're listening to God for wisdom. Ask Him for wisdom as to what you should say or what you should not say, and what will have the most value in this moment. Secondly, ask yourself, did they ask for advice? If you're not sure, sometimes it's worth asking. Are you asking for advice, or is that something that you just wanted to share with me and bear the load together? And then another thought is that a delayed response, not even on the same conversation or the same day, can be much more powerful, because it demonstrates that you really listened and that you have given thought and that it mattered enough to you for you to come back to it on another occasion. It just shows love and care, and that you're a person who gives things serious consideration. You're trustworthy. Practice this as a young adult. Are you young? You'll be among the wisest and most trusted people of your generation if you do this. Practice it as husband and wife together. It will make such a difference to how much is able to be resolved. Spend time together, precious time, quiet time. Teach it to your children so that they grow up with this just being their way to listen, quick to listen, slow to speak. It's such a blessing. And your children and others will also be more willing to hear your advice if you have really listened properly to them. So I pray that these thoughts about being quick to listen and slow to speak will help to build you up in a genuine faith today. God bless you.